They tried to move on. They forced themselves to believe it would be easy, that being with someone else would be enough to forget. But the truth is relentless. Everything reminds them of you. The gestures that once felt natural now seem rehearsed. The touch that should be comforting only brings back memories of yours. The voice, the words, the moments. Nothing fills the void that remains. They tried to run away, but they found themselves lost in their own memories. And now they realize it wasn't just a relationship, it was something bigger, something that can't be replaced. If there is courage, if pride is shattered, that someone might appear at any moment. And when that happens, will you be ready to listen? They tried to move on. They tried to convince themselves that the choice was right, that it was just a phase, that diving into another story would distract them, pretending the past didn't exist. But the truth always finds a way to knock on the door. And now it's shouting. Every gesture, every touch, every glance exchanged with this new person carries the weight of comparison. They tried to kiss without thinking of you, but the memory crashed in. They tried to appreciate the way this person speaks, but realized they prefer your tone of voice. They tried to convince themselves that things were okay, but deep down, everything is wrong. Regret comes in the details, in the small things, in the way this new person holds their hand, but it doesn't fit perfectly. In how they laugh at the same jokes, but it doesn't sound natural. In the attempt to create new memories, but all are shadows of what was lived with you. They thought time would heal things, that distancing would suffice, that you would become just a distant memory. But now they see some people don't fade away. You are there, present in every void, in every silence. And the more this person tries to escape, the more they are trapped. The name was saved in the phone, but it never seems quite right. The ringtone never brings the same anticipation. The scent that should be new only causes longing. They tried to delete the photos, but the memory still projects the images. They tried not to search for you on social media, but their fingers always slide to your profile. They tried not to talk about you, but in any conversation, something brings your name back. And now? How to move on when everything around insists on reminding? How to keep pretending that everything is fine when the absence has become an unbearable weight? The heart is restless. Pride tries to hold on, but the truth can no longer be ignored. They haven't gotten over you. The doubt still exists. Is it too late? Do you still think about this? Is there any chance? But if there is an opportunity, if there's even a small opening, maybe this person will finally find the courage. And if they knock on your door, what would you do? The doubt is a poison that spreads slowly. This someone thinks about this every day. They imagine all the possibilities. Do you still have any good memories? Do you feel the same longing? Or is it that, while trying to move on, it was you who really succeeded? Fingers hover over the phone screen. The message has been written and erased dozens of times. What to say, how to begin? The fear of not being answered is real. The fear of it being too late is even greater. Pride fights with the desire. Reason says to forget, to not relive the past, to move on as if nothing happened. But the heart whispers something else. The heart screams. Days go by, and nothing fills the void. They tried to stay busy, go out with other people, pretend they don't feel anything. But at the end of the day, when everything goes quiet, there's only you left. And the question pounds, what if I had done things differently? What if I had fought harder? If I had said everything that was left unsaid? If I had chosen to stay instead of leaving? Would things be better now? Night falls and sleep won't come. My chest tightens. The urge to call you is unbearable. But what if you don't answer? What if you say you've already moved on? What if you're in someone else's arms? Insecurity gnaws at me. Time passes, and indecision becomes torment. The fear of losing you for good is suffocating, but pride still holds me back, still keeps me from reaching out. Yet there's a limit to how long I can run, and that limit is approaching. Eventually, the desire to know outweighs the fear of the answer. Pride can't hold me any longer. And then, a message. Simple, straightforward, but loaded with everything that's been stuck inside for so long. Hey, how are you? Short, direct, but with an absurd weight behind it, waiting for that blue check mark. The anxiety when I see typing. My heart races, breath caught in my throat. And what if you respond? What if you ignore me? What if this is the last chance? What's going to happen now? Time seems to slow down. Every second without a response is a blow to the chest. The phone is in my hand, but it feels like it weighs a ton. The screen is locked and my mind is restless. And then, nothing. No reply. No sign. Fear sets in. What does this mean? Did you see it and choose to ignore it? Have you not read it yet? Did you hesitate before responding? Was your reaction one of surprise or indifference? Insecurity starts to take over. Regret hits hard. Maybe I waited too long. Maybe by the time I finally found the courage, it was already too late. But what if it's not? What if you're testing me? Waiting to see if I'll persist? The thought of losing you for good is terrifying. A suffocating fear, a paralyzing dread. My mind starts to replay everything that happened. Every mistake, every word left unsaid, every moment I could have chosen differently. And now all that's left is this lonely message lost in your chat. My mind battles with itself. Should I send another message? Or would that seem desperate? Should I wait longer, but how much longer? Hours pass, the phone vibrates, my heart skips a beat. But it's not you. A bitter frustration sets in. The day drags on. Each notification brings a hope that fades quickly. The tension rises. Regret turns into a silent despair. Until, suddenly, hi. Simple, direct, but laden with weight. The response has arrived. Now what? What to do, what to say, how to continue a conversation that has been hanging in the balance for so long? The hand hesitates before typing. The heart races. Mistakes can't happen now. But what comes after this exchange of messages could change everything. Are you ready for this? The heart quickens. The gaze fixes on the screen. Aye. Simple but laden with everything that has been trapped in time. All the swallowed words, the sleepless nights, the suffocated memories. Everything that was felt but never said. Fingers hover over the keyboard. What to reply? What comes after that hi? The mind collapses. The fear of saying something wrong, of breaking the fragile balance of this moment, weighs heavily. Regret and anxiety duel. What does this response mean? Is it just politeness, an automatic reflex, or a sign that there's still something there? The past weighs more than ever now. The time that has passed, the decisions made, the paths that diverged. But what if this high is a beginning? What if there's still room for more? Breath catches. The pressure on the shoulders increases. The urge to ask everything at once erupts inside the chest. But there's a hesitation. What if it's too late? What if this high is just a polite end? The doubt tightens, but there's no turning back now. I didn't know if I should reach out. The message is sent. A sincere truth, straightforward. The waiting begins again. The phone feels like a dead weight in the hands. The mind conjures 1,000 scenarios. The possibilities multiply. Those 3 dots appear on the screen. Typing, the heart races, breath falters. Then the response arrives. I didn't know if I should reply either. A confession disguised as simplicity. But what does it really mean? The tension hangs in the air. The conversation is on a knife's edge. It could go either way. It could ignite something or end everything for good. Now more than ever, caution is necessary. But can the right words still fix what's been broken? Or is there nothing left to save? The answer lies in your hands. The phone is still in your hand. The weight of the answer settles in your chest. I didn't even know if I should reply. What does that mean? Did they feel hesitation too? Do they not know what to do with this conversation? Is something still there, trapped amid pride, pain, and time? Your fingers tremble over the keyboard. Every word needs to be measured. It can't seem too distant, but it also can't come off as desperate. There's a fine line between showing interest and diving headfirst back into the past. But the truth, the fear of saying anything wrong is suffocating. Then comes the decision, sincere. No beating around the bush. But you replied. It's a reminder, simple, yet heavy. They could have ignored it. They could have let the message slip away, like so many other conversations that never resumed, but they chose to respond. The 3 dots appear again. Typing. Your heart races. Your breath is heavy. Every second feels like an eternity. I replied, nothing more, no explanations, no justifications. Is this a test, an invitation, a boundary? Thoughts race through your mind. What's happening? The conversation feels like a minefield. Every sentence could blow everything up or clear a path. Does this mean anything? You type. But don't send it. You delete it. You write it again. Change the words. Restrain the impulse to be too straightforward. But why pretend? Why avoid? The silence has already lasted too long. So you hit send. Time freezes. The wait is torturous. The phone feels heavier than ever. Thoughts swirl. Was it a mistake to send that? Then the response arrives. Do you think it means anything? Your chest tightens. It's a game. But it's also a reflection of indecision. The past is between you, weighing like an invisible wall. But if it were really just the past, this conversation wouldn't even be happening. If it didn't mean anything, I wouldn't be here. The truth escapes. Simple, direct, impossible to ignore. Now there's no turning back. What comes next could change everything. The ellipsis appears again. Now everything depends on the next response. The heart pounds in your chest. The air feels heavy. Time slows down. With each passing second without an answer, the anxiety grows. You feel the weight of the past pressing down on your chest. All the history, all the moments, all the words spoken, and especially the ones left stuck in your throat. And then, the message arrives. I wouldn't be here either if it didn't mean anything. Silence, a veiled confession, small but heavy with meaning. Your gaze fixes on the screen. Your hands grip the phone tightly. What do you say to that? It's a relief, but also an emotional trap. If it still means something, why the distance? If there are still feelings, why try to replace? Pride fights to keep you from asking the obvious question. But your heart already knows the answer. This person tried to run away, tried to move on, tried to deceive themselves, but they couldn't. And now there's a fragile space between you, a space where anything can happen. And what do we do with this? You type bluntly. No more games. The response takes a while. You imagine the other person staring at their phone, on the other side of the screen, feeling the same tightness in their chest. Typing, your heart races. I don't know. That response hits like a shock. How can they not know? How can they still be lost? Anger flares a bit, mixed with longing, confusion, and an uncontrollable desire to know more. But deep down, you understand. You understand because you don't know either, because there's no script for this kind of situation, because feelings don't follow logic. And then, without thinking too much, without filtering, without rehearsing, you write, so tell me, if you knew, what would you do? The message goes through, and now everything depends on the response. The three dots appear again. What comes next could change everything. The three dots stay on the screen, typing. The weight is unbearable. My chest tightens. My mind spins with possibilities. Are they going to respond? Are they going to evade? Are they on the other side of the screen feeling the same fear, the same uncertainty, the same weight of the decision? Then, the message arrives. If I knew, maybe I wouldn't have lost you. The impact is immediate. Time stands still. My hands grip the phone. My heart races. It's a revelation, an unexpected confession, a recognition that things could have been different. But there's still an abyss between admitting and acting. What does this person really want? Do they want to fix things? Do they want to go back? Or do they just want to relieve their own guilt? Emotions clash. The part of you that still misses them wants to hold on to that sentence, wants to believe that everything can be resolved. But the other part, the one that remembers the pain, the silence, the absence, screams not to give in so easily. The truth needs to be said. And now? What do you want? The question comes out bluntly. No more space for emotional games. The response takes its time. My chest tightens with every second of silence. Typing. My fingers grip the phone. The air feels heavy in my lungs. And then, it comes. I want to see you. My heart stops for a second. This is it. There's no more room for cold messages, no more digital barriers to hide behind. If I accept, everything could change. If I refuse, everything could end right here. What to do? The decision is in my hands. Silence fills the space. The weight of that message hangs in the air. I want to see you. What does that really mean? A reunion? A settling of scores? An apology? Or a desperate attempt to revive something that never died? The heart races. Fingers hesitate over the screen. 1,000 scenarios flash through the mind. Is it worth it? Is there still something to salvage? Or is it just another open wound? The answer is right there, ready to be sent. But first, one last question echoes. What if nothing has changed? You take a deep breath, because deep down you've always known this moment would come. You've always known that this person never really left. So now only one decision remains. Accept this reunion and face everything that was left behind, or close that door once and for all. What would you do? Would you respond to this message or leave it in the past? Comment below and share your thoughts. If you liked this text, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this.